All right, what's up, Math 8? Today we are going to continue on working with angles and lines within angles and their relationships and things like that. So we are going to go ahead and just start out using this same stuff that we did last class and last video. And we're going to go ahead and start out just with example 3 here. So we're starting out where we left off. Okay, so for example 3, it says angles A and B are supplementary. Okay, so hopefully you remember what that is, what that means. Supplementary tells us that they add up to 180 degrees. All right, if the measure of angle A equals 2x plus 30, and the measure of angle B equals 2x minus 10, what is the measure of each angle? Okay, so we know right off the bat 180 equals angle A and angle B combined, so we can do A plus B. Now, it gives us our measures for A and B, so we can go ahead and plug that in. Okay, so A is at 2x, whoops, that's not a 2, is it? A is 2x plus 30. B is 2x minus 10. So I'm going to take 180, and then in place of A, I'm going to put 2x plus 30, without the parentheses yet, and then plus B, which is 2x minus 10. Okay, now all I need to do is just solve. Okay, so I have 2x plus 2x. Okay, and that will give us 4x, and then we have 30 minus 10, which will give us 20. Subtract 20 from both sides, we get 160 equals 4x. And then last, we divide both sides by 4 to completely isolate the variable. It'll give us 40 for x. Okay, now after we found that x is 40, we still need to find the measure of each angle. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to take our 40 and we're going to plug in to these two expressions. Okay, so for angle A, we have 2x plus 30. I'm going to put 40 in for x, since that's what we found down here. And then plus 30. So that would give us 80 plus 30, which equals 110. Okay, so the measure of angle A equals 110 degrees. And then for angle B, we have this equation. So B equals 2x minus 10, but again, instead of x, I'm going to put 40. Okay, and then we have B equals 80 minus 10, which equals 70. Okay, now one thing we can do to check our solutions for this is make sure that they add up to 180, which we have up here, and they do 110 plus 70 is 180. So we did this problem correctly. Okay, so that's an example of how you do that. You're just taking A plus B, or in the got it problem, it'll be K plus L, and then you set it equal to either 90 or 180, depending on if it's supplementary or complementary. Okay, and then you just want to plug in the expressions that they give you. So for that one, it'll be those two for K and L. All right, so go ahead and try out got it problem. Well, I guess just the got it problem. All right, and then after you do that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the rest of the part 2 angle and line measurement stuff. All right, so when we get here to example 4, you can see we have the question, what is the value of x in the figure? Okay, well, there's a couple different ways that we can go through doing this. First of all, we can see that this angle and this angle, okay, these two, wow, that looks terrible now. We'll zoom it back out. So we can see that those two are adjacent supplementary angles. Okay, so we can look at those to figure it out. We can also see that these two angles are vertical angles, we can use that to figure it out. Personally, I'm going to look at the vertical angles because I think that's going to make it easier for us to solve. Okay, when we have vertical angles, that means they are equal to each other. So we can go ahead and set those two equal. So we have 2x plus 2 equals 130. Okay, now all we do is solve, right? So those two cancel. We have 2x equals 128. And if you type that into your calculator, you should get 64 for x. Okay, and that's all you got to do on example 4. Now, if you didn't do that, you could also do these two as being supplementary. So we would have 2x plus 2 plus 50 equals 180. Okay. From there, we just have 2x plus 52 equals 180. Subtract the 52 from both sides. We get 2x equals, what is that, 128. And then when we divide both sides by 2, we get x equals 64 again. So you can see either way you go, it's going to give you the same outcome. So whichever one you prefer is up to you. I prefer working with vertical angles because we just have to set them equal to each other. All right, so once you've got that all written out and understood and everything, go ahead and do this next got it problem. What is the value of y in the figure from example 2? All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to example 5. This is where it can kind of start to get tricky, right? Because you can see by looking at this, ABC and ABD, neither of those, well, when we add those together, we're not going to get complementary or supplementary angles because this is not a right angle or a straight angle. Okay, so it's not 90 or 180. So we are going to just go ahead and read the instructions and see what makes the most sense. So in the figure, the measure of angle ABD is 164. Okay, on a problem like this, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that, make sure I write down that that is 164 degrees. Okay, from there it says find the measures of angles ABC and CBD. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we know that both of these two angles combined, if we draw that, that would be ABC and CBD. Okay, so those two angles combined give us that 164. So I'm going to put in 164 equals angle ABC plus angle AB, whoops, not AB, CBD. Okay, after that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in what I have for each of those angles. So 164 obviously stays the same. Angle ABC, we can see that is 2x plus 23. And angle CBD is just x. So I'm going to add one more x. Okay, from there we can just solve. So we get 3x plus 23. Subtract 23 from both sides. They'll cancel on the right, and on the left we get 141 equals 3x. And then if we divide both sides by 3, that will give us x equals 47 is what I got. Okay, and you can type that into your calculator if you need to. Okay, so we got that x equals 47, but that's not our problem, right? Our problem is to find out the measures of angle ABC and CBD. Okay, so for ABC, I'm just going to plug in that 47 for x. Okay, that'll give us 2 times 47, which I believe would be 94, and then plus 23. When I add those together, I will get 117. So the measure of angle ABC equals 117 degrees. All right, and then we've got one more to do. I'm going to have to move over a little bit. And actually we don't, because this is just x. So all we got to do for angle CBD is put 47. And that is it for that. All right. So there we go. That is it for example 5. It's a little bit longer of a problem. There's a few steps. But I think if you give it practice, you'll have no problem doing it. So go ahead. Well, hold on. Let's look at example 6 first. Okay, so example 6 says angles RVT and UVW are vertical angles with RVT equaling 3x degrees and UVW being 5x minus 36 degrees. All right, so if we go ahead and look at that problem, well, first of all, you can see in this example there's no diagram, there's nothing drawn there, right? So we're going to have to just use our knowledge of what vertical angles mean. Okay, vertical angles, we know those are going to be equal and they're across from each other. Really all we need to know for this problem is that they're equal. Okay, so that means we have that angle RVT is equal to angle UVW. Okay, and then we can just plug in the stuff that we get here. Okay, so RVT we know is 3x, and UVW we know is 5x minus 36. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x from both sides. That will give us negative 2x equals negative 36. Divide both sides by negative 2 in order to isolate x. So we'll get x equals positive 18, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we found that x equals 18, so there's part 1. Real nice and easy, nothing out of the ordinary there. Okay, now we got to find the measure of angle UVW. All right, so I'm going to take that 18 that I just found, and I'm going to plug it in for this x. So now we have 5 times 18 minus 36. Okay, 5 times 18 will give us 30, nope, not 36. It'll give us 90. Don't know where I got that 36. Okay, so that'll give us 90. And then we subtract our 36. Okay, 90 minus 36 would be something with a 4, 54 degrees. Okay, so the measure of angle UVW is 54 degrees, and that's it for example 6. All right, so that is it for that. I need you to go ahead and do the final got it problem on this page, so go ahead and pause the video to do that, and then once you have finished that up, we are done for this video lesson. So that is it on angles and line relationships. So yeah, I will see you guys in class, and we will work on this a little bit more then.